There are moments in history that never happened, yet feel inevitable. Moments where two forces, born in different worlds, seem destined to collide. This is one of those moments. Not recorded in books, not preserved in film, but imagined in the space where myth becomes larger than memory. The setting is a town that does not exist on any map. A western frontier settlement resting under a sky too wide to belong to one era. Wooden buildings line a single street. A barber pole turns lazily in dry wind. Dust curls along the ground like restless spirits. It feels like the Old West, but something is different. There are no horses tied outside the saloon. No wanted posters nailed to boards. No darán cowboys shouting. Instead, there is silence. The kind of silence that comes before history shifts. From the far end of the street, a lone figure walks forward. He moves lightly, balanced, every step measured. Bruce Lee, not on a film set, not under studio lights, but real, breathing, observing alive. His eyes scan everything. Roof angles, window reflections, wind direction. He does not walk like a fighter seeking conflict. He walks like a man studying a problem. On the opposite end of the street, boots press into dust. Slow, heavy, intentional. Clint Eastwood, hut low, shoulders relaxed. A revolver resting in a worn holster. Not flashy, not decorative, functional. Two legends from separate mythologies. One built on explosive motion, the other built on restraint. The wind drifts between them. A distant wooden sign creaks. They stop 20 paces apart. No one speaks. In most battles, fear arrives first. But here, there is none. There is recognition. Bruce sees not an actor, but an archetype, a man who has survived 1,000 fictional gunfights by understanding timing. Clint sees not a martial artist, but something more dangerous, a man who has reduced combat to mathematics. The narrator, calm, reflective, breaks the silence. Bruce Lee believed the highest form of combat was to end it instantly. Clint Eastwood's legacy was built on endurance, surviving long enough for the final shot. Tonight, speed meets patience. Clint's thumb brushes the hammer of his revolver. Bruce's breathing slows until it almost disappears. The space between them feels charged. This is not merely hand-to-hand versus firearm. This is East versus West, fluidity versus stillness, adaptation versus inevitability. Clint speaks first. You're not from around here. Bruce's expression doesn't change. I go where there is something to learn. A faint smile touches Clint's face. Hope you learn fast. The wind dies, and the duel begins. Clint draws. The revolver clears leather in a flash of practiced efficiency. His arm extends, barrel aligning with Bruce's chest. But Bruce was never standing still. The instant Clint's shoulder twitched, Bruce moved. Not backward, forward. A blur crossing distance before the trigger fully tightens. The gun fires, but the shot splits air where Bruce stood half a second earlier. A window explodes behind him. Bruce's hand strikes Clint's wrist with surgical precision, redirecting the barrel skyward. The second shot cracks into the clouds. Clint pivots instantly, attempting to create distance. He has faced faster men before, but not like this. Bruce remains inside his range, where a gun becomes less effective than a fist. A rapid chain of strikes follows, controlled, measured, not reckless. A palm to the chest, a knuckle to the ribs, a low kick to destabilize stance. Clint absorbs what he can, blocks what he must. He slams the revolver downward like a hammer. Bruce slips left. The metal grazes air. Bruce's side kick fires. It stops an inch from Clint's ribs. An inch. A message. Clint exhales slowly. You could have finished that. Bruce lowers his leg. Victory without control is meaningless. Clint drops the revolver into the dirt. The crowd that isn't there would gasp. Now it is man-to-man. Clint steps forward first. A heavy punch, not elegant but powerful. Bruce pivots, letting momentum pass him like wind around stone. He counters with a strike, so fast it feels like electricity. Clint staggers but remains upright. Years of grit refuse collapse. They circle. Clint changes tactics. Instead of striking high, he lunges low, attempting to tackle Bruce to the ground, where weight and leverage can shift advantage. For a fraction of a second, it almost works. Bruce bends with the force instead of resisting it. Water. He redirects Clint's momentum with a hip turn and subtle shoulder shift. Clint hits the ground hard. Dust erupts. Bruce steps back, allowing him space to rise. There is no mockery in his eyes, only analysis. Clint pushes himself up slowly. Blood touches his lip. He wipes it away. You fight like you don't feel pain. Bruce nods slightly. Pain is information. Clint chuckles. You talk too much. He charges again, this time unpredictably. A feint high, a real strike low. Bruce blocks, barely. Clint follows with a spinning back fist born not from martial arts tradition, but barroom survival. It connects. Bruce stumbles one step. The first clean hit. Silence returns heavier than before. Bruce touches his jaw, then smiles. Not arrogance. Approval. Now the rhythm changes. Bruce advances, not explosively, but methodically. A low sweep. Clint jumps back. A jab to the throat, stopped by a raised forearm. An elbow aimed at the temple, narrowly avoided. Clint's breathing grows heavier. Bruce's remains steady. Clint realizes something. This isn't about strength. It's about efficiency. Every movement Bruce makes costs minimal energy. Every movement Clint makes drains reserves. The sun begins to lower. Shadows stretch long across the street. Clint glances toward the fallen revolver. Bruce sees it and understands. Clint dives for it. Bruce intercepts. A flying side kick lands, not full force but enough. Clint crashes into a wooden post. The revolver lies inches from his hand. He reaches. Bruce's foot presses onto the barrel, pinning it. They lock eyes. No hatrif. No rai. Only acknowledgement. You're good, Clint says through strained breath. Bruce steps back. So are you. Clint rises one final time. No weapon. No trick. Just resolve. They move simultaneously. Clint throws everything into a final charge. Strength, will, defiance. Bruce meets him. A rapid combination, body, shoulder, chin. A final intercepting strike to the solar plexus. Clint's momentum dies mid-step. He drops to one knee, breathing hard, still conscious, still proud. Bruce steps back. The wind returns. Dust swirls between them. Clint slowly stands again. But this time he does not attack. He studies Bruce differently. Not as opponent, but as evolution. You're faster, Clint admits. Bruce shakes his head. No, I waste less. Clint looks at the revolver, then at his empty hand, then at Bruce. A quiet laugh escapes him. Guess the world's changing. Bruce's voice softens. It always is. For a long moment, they stand in mutual understanding. Two icons from different philosophies. One built on endurance, one built on adaptation. Clint tips his hat. Bruce bows his head slightly. No final knockout. No dramatic death. Because the true battle was never about destruction. It was about transformation. Clint turns and walks toward the saloon. Bruce looks toward the horizon. The sun dips lower. Shadows merge. The narrator closes. In every era, a new form of strength emerges. Not to erase the old, but to refine it. Speed overtakes power. Precision overtakes force. Adaptation overtakes rigidity. But legends never truly lose. The street empties. The wind erases footprints. And somewhere beyond time, two mythologies coexist. Not as enemies, but as milestones. One representing where we were, the other where we were going. And in that silent, impossible town, history breathes differently. Because for one brief moment, Bruce Lee and Clint Eastwood stood on opposite ends of evolution. And the world did not have to choose.